Hello and welcome back to DBD Sports Show. Let's give it a round of applause. All right, this is, I believe, the eighth episode of DBD Sports Show. Thank you for coming back and remaining to watch. Before we begin today, make sure you guys check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our Instagram, everything at DBD Sports Show. Jerry, you want to start us off today?
Yeah. So we're just gonna start off with Tiger Woods today. New details came out of his crash. So actually it came out that he was going 30 over. He was going about 82 miles per hour.
It was 80. I didn't know it was that fast.
It was about 82. I heard.
He was flying.
Yeah. Then they also said that after the crash he didn't even know where he was. So that puts in perspective how bad it was.
Where was the crash?
Cali.
Was it California?
Somewhere in Cali, yeah.
Somewhere in California, yeah. So,
yeah, so he posted on Twitter, I think it was 3 days ago, something like that, from recording. He basically just said, in the last few days, I received word from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department that the investigation regarding my traffic accident back in February 23rd in Los Angeles has been completed and closed. Then he's just pretty much thanking everybody who helped him, like the first responders, stuff like that. Then he said, I will continue to focus on my recovery and family, and thank everyone for the overwhelming support and encouragement I received throughout this very difficult time, Tiger. So does this mean that he's going to try and make a comeback for golf, or?
I hope he makes a comeback.
He's probably going to try.
Do you think he realistically will?
I don't know.
I don't know about it. I mean, I hope, he is old, you know what I'm saying? So,
and it's a weird injury, as far as golf goes, because, when you come through.
Not even weird, it was just, a horrific.
Yeah, his ankle and his legs, all messed up.
Yeah. So, because he just said that the investigation was closed, but is there really, a set explanation reason how he crashed?
I don't think they even know, to be honest.
Well, maybe they know and they don't want to. I know they were figuring it out. Maybe they know and don't want to say it out of respect for their family.
Yeah.
Do you think they don't want to say it because he's a big named person and they don't want to disclose all the details because it might be too bad to it might be something bad that he did? Because some people were saying that he might have fallen asleep at the wheel, or some people were saying that he tried to hit the brake but the brake got stuck. That's why there were no brake marks at all on the road. So we really don't know what happened. Tiger might not even know what happened.
It wasn't early in the morning too, though. So
it was
falling asleep is very possible.
Right.
You get tired. It happens.
And he golfed with Dwayne Wade the morning,
yeah.
The day before, or he was going to golf, something like that. Yeah. Someone golfing with a celebrity, and then because he had all of his luggage with him, so maybe he was going to a shoot, or if he was going to
yeah.
Exactly. So let's move on to March Madness. March Madness has completed. Baylor won in an outstanding, dominant game. They beat Gonzaga 86-70. I think the smallest margin that Gonzaga was losing by was 6 or 7 the whole entire game. They were never able to come back.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Daryl?
It's definitely surprising. I mean, Gonzaga hadn't lost a game in over a year, so that's definitely surprising. And especially the way they've been playing and stuff like that. You're not gonna expect them to lose like that, but that shows how anything can happen in March, But definitely hats off to Gonzaga just having that winning streak.
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs had 2 great performances in his presumably his final college game. So I'm assuming he'll declare for the draft.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously having his block and pass and then the game winner, those are iconic moments. He's always gonna be remembered for like that. But I mean, all the credit goes to Baylor. They played hard. Their
coaching, their just everything.
They came out on fire. They weren't playing around. So
I feel like this March Madness was really entertaining to watch. That Gonzaga UCLA game comes right down to the wire.
That was very good.
That was in my opinion, I like watching college basketball better than I like watching NBA. I feel like they actually they're so into it. The defense actually plays and it's just basketball, real basketball.
This was, I think, one of the first times since say 19, I think it was around 1960 or 1980 something. The first time 2 teams have remained number 1 through 3 seeds the whole year, and they played each other in the national championship, which is crazy because they were going to play each other on earlier, December 5th, and they ended up playing April 5th or April something, which is crazy because they did end up playing, but it just happened to be the national championship. And the coach was even saying that they didn't mind being in the bubble at all. They actually didn't they liked it because they had karaoke nights, they had game nights, they had Connect 4 battles they were talking about. So they were he was saying that they would have rather been stuck in a closet for 4 weeks than not playing March Madness. And the Baylor team was very dominant all not preseason, regular season basically until they had a COVID something like that.
Yeah. They easily could have been undefeated as well if it wasn't for that, to be honest.
They probably would have been. It just would have been for that Gonzaga and Baylor game. It could have went either way. And their defense was, I think, like top 4 or top 3, and their offense was top 3 all year. And the only reason their defense was down was because they didn't play.
Yeah.
And I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, so the Baylor team, we knew them that they were going to be dominant, but we haven't seen them be as dominant as Gonzaga because they were dominant every single game.
Yeah, but see, like, I think on Gonzaga too, like, I like defend both teams, like, real quick. So, like, think about, like, Gonzaga too, they do it versus easier people at the same time, you know?
Really?
So, yeah, because Gonzaga, well, their conference is easier.
Oh, okay.
So, like, Baylor plays teams like Oklahoma State, teams like Ohio State, stuff like that. Like, they play bigger names consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Gonzaga could beat the bigger names, but they didn't get to verse them as much, you know?
I got you.
So, like, for instance, like, Baylor lost to Oklahoma State. Like, that was Cade Cunningham's team. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they lost to them in their conference tournament. Mm-hmm. So, which is also why I didn't think they could beat Gonzaga. But that shows, like, sometimes, like, teams just need to make adjustments sometimes, and, like, they can do things well. Because, like, they lost to Oklahoma State in the Big 12, like, I think it was a semifinal.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the people they versed, they're in a conference with Kansas, Texas, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Oklahoma. All those teams made the tournament.
Yeah.
And Gonzaga's like conference, it's probably like the 2 teams who made the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows like how like the different
Who
competitions.
was the other team?
BYU.
Oh, they're all right. Yeah. So, and then in the regular season, but before Baylor's, I think before like the COVID outbreak, they beat a team on average of like, I think it was around 10 points or like 10 points or something. That's how much they beat the teams by. Then after the COVID break, that was the least amount of points they won a team by. Then it went to at least like 15 points they would beat teams by. And then we saw them be very dominant. Then kind of throughout the tournament, it kind of went down. And they were just like a very good team, but they weren't as much of a powerhouse like Gonzaga was.
Right.
But when they beat Houston, we saw the Baylor team that was before in the regular season.
Yeah.
So it kind of, at least it shocked me because I haven't seen them play like that. But that was basically how they always used to play. Yeah. And Gonzaga, I feel like, was taken off guard too.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Mm-hmm. And for Baylor, the best performance, in my opinion, was Jared Butler. He had 22 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds in like 31 minutes or something like that. And Gonzaga actually had a better field goal percentage, but Baylor had a way better three-point percentage with 46% to 23%. Mm-hmm. And Baylor out-rebounded Gonzaga 38 to 22 rebounds all around. So just dominant. As soon as Gonzaga started to make a run, they made a run for like 2 minutes to get it within 10, and then it was just they just pushed them back.
Because I feel like at the same time they didn't know how to play from behind. Like they're so used to playing from ahead. So like once you get in that situation, you're so used to being ahead. Like you're just like awakened to a new beast. You know what I mean?
Brady, you want to go for the next topic?
NBA Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's just clear cut at this point. I did put like a close second, but first I'm going Anthony Edwards. Really? He's averaging almost 24 points, four rebounds, 4 assists. Mm-hmm. And then second I put Theo Maledon. Even though Daryl like disagrees with that, he's averaging like 18, 4 and 4, just like Anthony Edwards. But Anthony Edwards is just like a showstopper. Like he makes plays sometimes. Like did he really just make that play?
No,
like,
I agree.
It's insane. His athleticism is like crazy.
I think it was hands down LaMelo Ball before. I don't know now because of his injury, but he was averaging 16, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, and 45 field goal percentage.
Do you guys think they could still give it to him? Like, did he play enough where he could?
If everyone else started, if like, the rest of the rookies were playing bad, then yeah.
That's kind of like.
But Anthony Edwards is low key starting to pick it up.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like if they gave Joel Embiid the MVP.
Right.
Because it's the same thing. They were both on MVP and Rookie of the Year tracks, but then they both got injured.
Yep.
So we really don't know. So and then we all said that James Harden's a clear-cut favorite, but now he's hurt with a hamstring. Mm-hmm. So everybody's gonna get hurt.
Who's clear-cut for MVP now?
I want to say
there's no clear-cut. It's just like
none.
No.
I hope Dame wins it. I want Dame.
What is he averaging right now?
Bro, he's like averaging almost 30. It's nuts.
And then what did Tatum drop last night? 53?
Yeah, but Tatum's not on. And no, MVP conversation.
But you know, he only had 3 assists, like 10 rebounds.
10 rebounds.
And Jay Brown was feeding him.
Yeah.
That was a great game.
It was a
good game, but it was the Timberwolves. It shouldn't even went into overtime.
Yeah. I mean, like, that also, too. We went deep into overtime as well.
Yeah, it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even. 53. We were winning by, I think we were winning by 10 with like 2 minutes left. And we let them go on like a 15-4 run or something like that.
They were actually beating us most of that game, too.
Was it?
They were beating us most of that game, too.
Right. Yeah, I looked, because I was at work, I looked at my phone at halftime. We were losing by like, 12 at halftime or something like that? Like, we just can't compete with big-name teams. We can barely compete with the Timberwolves, and they're way down in the conference seedings. Speaking about seedings, Darryl, do you think the Lakers are going to fall in seeding?
I mean, if Anthony Davis and LeBron don't come back soon, they are.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, like, as soon as it starts to look dire, one of them is going to try to rush it back. Because, like, they definitely don't want to be in a playing situation. Because, like, the playing tournament, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just have a bad game, you could be done for. So, they definitely, like, they're probably trying to just, like, keep LeBron and 8 on the sideline as much as they can. But I think even right now, the Lakers could be 4th or 5th.
I think they're 5th
right now. So, like, they don't want to fall, like, to 7th because then you're in a playing situation.
Do you think that's how far they would fall if they were to keep falling? 7th would be the lowest?
I mean, it's possible. Like, they're not winning games. So,
who is 6 and 7 right now?
6 is the Trailblazers, 7 is the Mavericks.
Okay.
And, like, they're currently...
So 2 good teams.
So, like, the Lakers are currently only a game and a half ahead of them, the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
So, if they just lose a few more games, they could, like, fall all the way back.
And I think they're 7 games behind first place, which is the Jazz, which is insane.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the Jazz are still in first.
They might not be for long.
Yeah.
Why? Because the Suns have been surging.
Suns.
How many games behind are they?
Like 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
My thing is, like, if one of the two come back, meaning like LeBron or AD, it's not gonna work. Still in the playoffs. But I feel like in the playoffs they need both of them to go deep. Like it's not gonna work with just LeBron or just AD.
Right.
But if one of them comes back, you definitely want it to be LeBron because it's not happening with just AD.
He can like facilitate at least and like get everyone playing better until like AD comes back.
Which ones do you think is the better team, the Suns or the Jazz?
Suns.
I like the Suns.
Yeah. How come?
Well, first of all, like the Suns, like they've been playing the best like in the NBA like recently, and like I trust Devin Booker more in the clutch. I trust Chris Paul's veteran leadership in the clutch. I trust Chris Paul just in general. I mean, he wanted this team and made them way better. Like, you know, that's not a coincidence. Like, every time that Chris Paul goes on, becomes better because he brings that veteran presence. And, like, they have like, buckets, too. Like, Mikal Bridges can get a bucket, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I just trust them more. Like, that's what it comes down to. I just trust them more. The Jazz last year, people thought they were going to beat the Nuggets, and they didn't, you know what I'm saying? And they were up, too. Like, I just don't really trust the Jazz until I see it.
Who do you think is more of an underrated point guard, Rondo or Chris Paul?
Well, Chris Paul isn't really underrated, so
I feel like Rondo is overlooked a lot.
Yeah,
but Chris Paul's a lot better than Rondo at the same time. But Rondo shows up when he needs to.
Yeah.
And Rondo shows up in the playoffs.
Would you rather in clutch Chris Paul or Rondo?
Chris Paul.
Really?
I mean, did you guys see what Chris Paul did last year against the Rockets? Like, I mean, he almost carried like a young OKC team to beat the Rockets last year.
That is true. Yeah.
We have to see what Rondo does for the Clippers. Then I'll be able to decide because because the Clippers are what 3.
Yeah.
If he can lead the Clippers to a deep playoff run, then I'd rather Rondo than Chris Paul. Just because it shows how much of a leader
him
he is.
leading them.
Exactly.
It's not going to be.
It's
not going to be Rajon leading them. It's going to be Kawhi and Paul George.
It's not like.
It depends on what he does.
Kawhi's the leader of that team.
It's not necessarily like Rondo leading them. It's him bringing a veteran presence. Chris Paul's bringing a veteran presence and he's leading them.
Yeah.
Because like even right now, I mean, Patrick Beverly's out, so Rondo's probably starting now. But Rondo wasn't even starting when Patrick Beverly was there. Like he was coming off the bench, but he was still bringing a spark. He's still playing well, but like Chris Paul, like it's like almost like it's like Chris Paul has the keys. Like Chris Paul's like getting everyone involved, like telling everyone what to do because he's like the veteran presence on the team.
What seed were the Lakers before all the injuries?
There were 2.
They were 2
behind Jazz.
And they've dropped 3.
Yeah.
And how many weeks was it since AD's been really hurt? 'Cause he was the one.
It's been gone forever.
It's been gone for like a month.
LeBron's the one who like probably went out like 2 weeks ago.
It's good because Trey has LeBron, I think, and I'm going against him in fantasy, so it's helping me a lot because I need to beat him.
Fantasy.
I haven't even.
You haven't looked?
No.
I don't know who you're playing. I'm playing Trey right now. I need to win this game and the next game, then I need to lose.
Oh my god.
I need Randy to lose and I think AG to lose to even get in.
Stressed me.
Shout out all my guys, fantasy.
Dude, I can't lose or I'm out.
I think I need AG to lose. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who else is ahead of me.
But yeah, like speaking of teams that are surging, like like you have like teams that like I definitely think could like sneak up and beat people. The Nuggets could easily like just sneak up and beat anyone in the conference.
The Nuggets are in an 8-game win streak right now, which is insane.
The Nuggets could easily beat anyone in the conference
too.
Especially like they're starting lineup right now. Their starting lineup right now is probably the best, like arguably the best in the NBA. Yeah, all around, right? Because look, you got Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Will Barton, right?
Michael Porter Jr. fell to what, 14 or 16?
Sorry, in the draft?
Yes.
Oh, he went very low that year because he was injured in college. But He was 14. So
he was 14.
He went very low that year because he was injured in college. But Michael Porter Jr. has the potential to just be like a crazy player.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gives you like.
I like him a lot.
He's like 6'10".
Yeah, he gives you Kevin.
Shoot, right?
He gives you Kevin Durant vibes. And usually, like Michael Porter Jr. usually doesn't play with much IQ. Like what I mean by that, he usually the type that like he just gets the ball, he shoots it. Like he just gets the ball, he shoots it. This year, since the All-Star break, he's been playing so tremendous basketball. Probably the second best on the team after Jokic. Like yes, better than Jamal Murray so far. Like because like his past games, right? Let me just like give you some of his stats. Michael Porter Jr. Last game, 22 and 10. Game before that, 18 and 10. Game before that, 25 and 7. Then two more 20-point games, 27 points. You know, he's been playing.
This is what, his second or third year?
This is his second year. But technically, he's been in the league for 3 years. But
he was hurt?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, like if MPJ is playing like this, the Nuggets are can beat anyone.
Because Jamal Murray is I feel like he's kind of underrated. I
He's
feel like
very
no one really ever talks about him. Jokic is an MVP discussion. Aaron Gordon's a huge big name that they just got from the Magic, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
MPJ, who you just said is a great young player, and then who was the fifth?
Will Barton. Yeah.
Will Barton is very good.
Yeah.
And the Jazz right now are on a 27 home game win streak. They've won 27 games in a row at home. That's actually insane.
Yeah. That's insane.
Clippers have won 4 straight. Clippers might. Do you think they'll pass the Suns in now? How many games behind the Suns are they?
I don't know.
See.
The Suns are rolling right now.
Oh, the Clippers are like a game and a half behind the Suns. I don't think the Clippers are going to pass the Suns, especially the way the Suns have been playing. But the Clippers obviously don't want to. The Suns obviously don't want to match up with a team like the Clippers in the playoffs. Like anyone could win that series, you know. You have Kawhi, Paul George, something that's supposed to that can win.
Do you think because Kawhi played okay in the bubble? Paul George did not play very good in the bubble. Do you think it's more important for the Clippers if Kawhi plays good or if Paul George plays good?
It's Paul George because Kawhi, you know what Kawhi's going to give you.
Right.
Paul George is like the factor, like if he's playing well, they can be the best.
He can give you what you want.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard because say Paul George is hot, they're going to have the double team Paul George and someone else is going to be open and say Kawhi can get the ball more and he can cook. Or if they keep having their focus on Kawhi, even though Paul George is getting hot, he can just keep going.
Right.
So it's like you can't really go wrong if you're the Clippers. You just have to get hot.
Yeah.
So we'll transition from the NBA to the NFL. Who is in the hardest division in the NFL? Which is the hardest division in the NFL?
I'm gonna say 2. One has a different meaning than I think the question actually brings.
Okay.
First, I put the NFC West. I think we can all agree that's probably one of the hardest divisions.
Cardinals, Seahawks, 49ers,
They have
Rams.
4 legit quarterbacks, and the 49ers are about to get another quarterback.
Yeah.
The Rams just added Matthew Stafford.
Oh
They're
my
going
God.
to be good.
I didn't even think
Russell
about that.
Wilson, Kyler Murray, and
That's not
Justin
even fair.
Fields,
That's not
Mac
even
Jones.
fair.
That division is stacked.
And a lot of these teams have been like steadily improving too. Like the Cardinals getting JJ and stuff
I feel like the 49ers.
All the 49ers teams coming back.
The 49ers 6-10 isn't 6-10. They're a 10+ win team. All those teams are.
Can you guys
10+
definitively
win
say
team.
who's going to win that division next year?
No.
No.
I think the Rams, but
definitively.
It's gonna go.
It's not definitively, but I think
it's
the
gonna
Rams
go
will win.
Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks.
I think it goes Rams, Seahawks, Arizona.
I
See,
can't
that's
give
a
you
hard
that.
thing.
That's a hard.
That's
I
that
almost
just
said
proves your point.
the NFC South too. Because say if the Saints play good, say the Buccaneers are obviously there. Carolina, they just brought in Sam Darnold. So the thing is,
And the Falcons have that 4th pick as right now.
Exactly. So they have all the talent in the world on the offensive side. So I thought they could also be good. I also said maybe the AFC West with the Chiefs. Obviously, the Broncos have a great young team, offense and defense. Depending on who they get for a quarterback, that can be a huge swing. The Raiders, who are a good team, they were earlier on. They kind of died down. And then the Chargers, if they surround Justin Herbert, that can be a very hard division.
Yeah.
And also watch out for the AFC East. I think the Patriots, they brought in a ton of talent. The Bills are the Bills. The Dolphins, they have a great young team, offense and defense. Tua is there. Jacoby Brissett is the backup. He's going to challenge Tua. And if Tua doesn't play, Jacoby Brissett's a great second option.
Yeah.
And then if the Jets can get better with a new QB and a new head coach, they can be very good. They can be good.
I'm not going to believe in the Jets until I see
good quarterbacks in our division now, too.
Bro, there's good if you really get down to it, there's good quarterbacks in almost every division except for the NFC East.
That's why I think it's the hardest division. Like it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to win in the NFC East. Like
it's so not hard to win. They're the worst.
I know, which makes it so hard.
Because they suck.
The Redskins made the playoffs and they won 6 games?
I think 7.
6, 9 and 1 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, like it's hard.
I don't know.
Like they all suck. That's what makes it so hard. Because like everyone thinks the Cowboys gonna win. Then
Who's
all of a sudden,
the NFC East?
all of a sudden, the Redskins come out of the 4th spot. Take the division.
The Cowboys are favored right now. I'd say the Redskins or the Giants.
I'm going Giants next year.
That's literally between any of them except for the Eagles.
Yeah.
There's no way the Eagles.
I like the Redskins still. I still like the Redskins.
I want Washington. Washington's the only team I like.
It honestly might be the same like.
Yeah. No, I hope Cowboys are last. I want Cowboys to be last so bad. I hate them.
I hope Dak has a comeback here though.
Yeah. I think if it's not hard for the AFC East right now, in the near future it's going to be hard because Josh Allen developing, Zach Wilson developing. Say if we get a quarterback out of the draft this year, they start to develop. It could be a whole different scenario.
Right.
So we're just kind of covering it. Sam Darnold is going to Carolina for a 6th-round pick this year in 2021, and a 2nd and a 4th-round pick in 2022. What do you think about this, Darryl?
Why? I'm not. All right, so for Sam Darnold personally, like, you got to like it because at least he's getting another chance somewhere else. Because, like, as soon as the Jets had...
They were celebrating.
Yeah, so, like, as soon as, like...
I would be, too.
as soon as the Jets saw, like, they had, like, that pick, you obviously knew, like, you're probably moving on. Sorry, that's Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? So, for him, on a personal standpoint, like, he has another chance to, like, kind of show. Because you guys don't necessarily make this point, but, like, a lot of players, when they leave Adam Gase, they start to develop work.
Exactly.
Well. So you never know.
Everybody brings up Ryan Tannehill. We saw what he did, and then we saw what he is now in Tennessee.
So that's like the good part. The other side is he's just not good at football. So let's just see like what he can bring to the table.
He's just not good.
He's just not good. Because I was watching it 2 days ago. I was really watching a ton of Sam Darnold's plays. A lot of his plays aren't that bad, but the offensive line was so bad. He was forced to make a spectacular play almost every single play. That's the thing. He had nobody to throw to, just like Cam, but they had a worse offensive line than us. So I can't knock him right now just because of how bad the team was around him. And if you really look, everybody was going after Zach Wilson's crossbody throw. Sam Darnold did the same thing in game and avoided 3 sacks in the same play.
It was gross.
So Sam Darnold could be good, but Matt Rule, a lot of like scouts in a way, they were looking at Matt Rule, one specific guy, but I can't remember his name. He said that Matt Rule was going to be like a great coach when he coached for Baylor. And then Baylor went on to win I forget what the specific like trophy or bowl game it was, but they ended up winning.
Yeah.
And then Matt Rule is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And they actually picked up Sam Darnold's extension too. So he's playing for them this year, and they picked up the 5th-year extension for him. So he's there for at least 2 years.
Let's see what he does. I mean, he has better weapons now too. So, like, I don't want to hear no excuses.
Exactly.
He has McCaffrey. Robbie Anderson is very good, underrated.
Yeah.
And he still has DJ Moore. So let's see what he does. If he still plays bad, then he's just not good at football.
And they have what pick?
The Panthers have, let's see, they are 8.
8?
Yeah.
They could go Devontae Smith if he's there. They could go Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase. I think because Sam Darnold is just so young, I think he has the talent. He can be good. But it's just how we were talking about last week. Is it more of the quarterback's fault when they're taking number 1 overall? Because he was taking 3rd. But is it more of the quarterback's fault when they didn't do good to a number 1 overall team, or is it the team and the scheme and the organization's fault?
Yeah.
I forget what I was gonna say. But yeah. So again, how you were saying, after Adam Gase leaves, the quarterback is automatically better every single time. So that's also why Matt Rule might have really wanted to scoop Sam Darnold up, because they got him for basically nothing.
Yeah, so
a
you might as
second,
well.
a 4th, and a
well.
6th rounder.
Might as well play your cards.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So if it's most likely going to happen, but if they go Zach Wilson in this draft, they will be the first team ever to get a quarterback in the top 3 picks in the span of 3 years, I think, ever. Which is just
ridiculous.
sad.
Yeah.
That shows a lot.
I mean, they haven't won anything in 50 years, so like.
Oh, sorry, 4 years, because I guess it's 4 years.
It's time to start making some moves if you're the Jets.
They actually let Teddy Bridgewater seek trade, and I think this is going to be easier for them if Teddy Bridgewater does leave, because I think it's like an $18 million or $20 million cap hit if they keep him or lose him.
If you're the Panthers, who would you rather though, Sam Darnold or Teddy Bridgewater?
Well, I don't see what Sam Darnold did to make you think he's better than Teddy Bridgewater.
Take Teddy Bridgewater.
Like, I don't understand.
I like Teddy Bridgewater.
I would kind of say both, just because Sam Darnold can kind of learn behind Teddy, but Teddy isn't really a starter himself. So I don't
know about all that. Teddy can start.
Yeah,
like,
he can.
Doesn't it mean like
he proved it with New Orleans?
But he's not very healthy. Yeah, he went 6-0 in New Orleans, but he's not healthy.
But he played like you can't like look at Teddy Bridgewater.
He's good talent-wise.
Like, you can't say he played bad last year. Like it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying?
He's good talent-wise, but longevity, you can't rely on him. That's probably the only reason why I would trust Sam Darnold, Because now if they build up their O-line, maybe they get the tackle out of Northwestern this year. If they get them and trying to build their offensive line, basically what they have now is already better than the Jets.
Okay.
So Sam Darnold isn't going to get hurt as much as he is on the Jets. He doesn't have to force as many plays. He has one of the best running backs in the backfield. He has a great receiving core compared to the Jets, what he had last year. So I would pick Sam Darnold just because he has literally his whole career ahead of him.
Right.
And Teddy Bridgewater's kind of, he reminds me of Tyrod Taylor. Like, he's there, and he's good, but he gets hurt. And it wasn't Tyrod's fault that he just got hurt. He got basically a fork stabbed in his ribs, but he couldn't control it. And who should go after Teddy Bridgewater? If there was a team to go after Teddy Bridgewater, which team should make a run for him to try and trade?
Sheesh.
Because they'll trade him.
What's the tough one? I don't think he's gonna start anymore though. That's my thing. Like that's why I can't really think of a place because I don't think he's gonna start anywhere. He's probably gonna go somewhere for like a backup role again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we could low-key sign him?
So a lot of people saying same thing, which is the next topic for the 4th pick. The Bears, the Patriots, and the Broncos are all kind of rumored to trade it for the 4th pick. And a lot of us were kind of saying, well, not a lot of us, but it was rumored that Teddy Bridgewater, if he's going to leave, those same 3 teams, there's obviously going to be more teams, but those are the 3 front runners to get Teddy Bridgewater. But I don't want him. We don't have a definite starter in Cam. If we were to bring in Teddy, we wouldn't have a definite starter in Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, so
if we're going to bring in a quarterback, legit, I want that guy to be the starter.
Yeah.
And so the Panthers, when they grabbed him from New Orleans, he was a free agent, right? So when they grabbed him, they basically said, "You're our guy. Like, we are going with you. You're going to be the starter. You're a legitimate, not really franchise guy, but you are going to be here." They're basically saying the same thing to Sam Darnold. Are they going to lie to Sam Darnold?
No.
I think they just want to see what they have in him.
I think it's a good move for the Panthers. I really do.
I mean, they didn't give anything up for it.
Yeah.
Because
6th round, like
I think you said it last week. The person obviously has the talent if they're going number 3 overall. And it depends on where they go, if they can achieve their ability or if they die off and they're a bust. But Sam Darnold, now he's put in the position to show why he was the 3rd pick overall and why he has the talent. So this is a great move for the Panthers. I think it'll pay off.
I think great is a overstatement, but like what we say definitely makes sense. I mean, like
I'll say
he's in a better situation.
In 3 years, we'll really see Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
I mean, he's with the Saints, the Bucks, the Falcons, and
but how long
obviously
are we
the
going to be
Panthers.
waiting for it? It's already been what, 4 years?
Well, because
3 years.
This is going to be his 4th, and then they signed his extension, so he's already there for 2 seasons.
So he's almost on his 2nd contract. Like we're still waiting for him to come around.
He needs his second. He needs not this season, but next season's 2023. He needs that season to be very good. Excuse me, 2022 season.
2022.
He needs that season to be very good if he wants to make the kind of money that he obviously wants to make. Everybody wants to make it. But I don't know where the Panthers would end up. Would they end up above the Falcons, above the Saints?
I don't know. I feel like they're going to end up 3.
Yeah.
Probably the same.
It depends on what they bring in on the defense.
I think the Panthers are actually going to be last.
4.
Because like the Falcons too, like
if they bring in a quarterback.
One, or if they just get another offensive weapon.
Yeah.
They have Calvin Ridley and Julio
the
Jones
Falcons
still.
lost close games too.
What's their tight end's name? It's
That's not
Hurst.
Hayden Hurst.
Hayden
Hurst. Yeah.
Hurst,
he's very good.
Hayden Hurst.
Who has Eifert? Eifert.
Tyler Eifert.
Is it the Rams? No, they have Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might be the Chargers.
Is it
Tyler Eifert? No, he's on the Bengals, right? Tyler Eifert?
I don't remember, but that name just popped in my head.
I think he's on the Bengals.
Who should the Panthers draft, though, now this year?
The Panthers should,
he's
not
on the
even
Bengals.
a person, just a position.
He's on the Bengals.
wide receiver.
You think so?
Yeah. Just get
Wait,
him.
no, he's on the Jaguars.
Yo, like you're trying to say Sam Darnold's good. Like get him all the
Jaguars.
help you can get him.
Yeah.
Get him all the help you can get him.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think Jamar Chase will be there at 8?
No.
Where do you think he's going? Can you bring up the draft order?
Yeah. So 1 through 8 is Jacksonville, Jets, 49ers.
So Jacksonville's quarterback.
Yeah, 49ers, Falcons, Bengals, Miami. I think Miami's gonna get Jamar Chase. Detroit and then the Panthers.
I think Detroit will go quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
they just got Jared Goff.
They're not. They could even get a receiver as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the thing is, with the Jared Goff thing, they only gave up Matt Stafford to get him. But the Rams are really the team that gave up a lot to get Matt Stafford. So they didn't really invest a ton in Jared Goff yet. Yeah, they have the cap it and stuff like that, and they still have to pay him. But they could end up going quarterback. And then I think they would release or try and trade Jared Goff because there's no way they're going to be paying him 20-something million, just 30-something million a year just to be a backup.
That's true.
Do you think the Falcons will, or do you think they should trade away from 4? Do you think they should trade down?
I mean, if I'm the Falcons, I'm obviously going to take those calls, but I feel like they have a chance to like make their offense that much better.
Yeah.
And if they want to go defense, they can go defense too. But like, I don't see them taking any defense at 4. I feel like Pitts would just put their offense like on a whole nother level.
I actually think so. For teams that were trading up, it was rumored that, like how I was saying, with the Bears, the Patriots, and the Broncos. I think because the Cowboys were very interested and intrigued with Kyle Pitts, and how you were saying how they should go defense, which I agree. Because Matt Ryan is what, 36?
I think he might be 37.
Is he turning 37?
Might be
36, 37. So he still has some football ahead of him, but not a ton. So they definitely could go quarterback and develop him for a year or two. And then I think because Matt Ryan has like 2 more years left on his contract, something like that. So they could go quarterback. But say the Cowboys have what, pick 10?
The Cowboys have pick 10, correct. Yeah.
If the Cowboys traded up to 4, Falcons get 10, and they give them, say, their first round next year and like second round this year, they could very well go Kyle Pitts. And then if Falcons were to go
Cowboys go
Kyle Pitts, and then the Falcons defensive pick, say they want Micah Parsons, say they want Patrick Surtain, say they want J.C. Horn, they're all going to be there at 10. So if they do really want to go defense, there's no point to get a defensive pick at 4.
Yeah.
When you can get that same guy
at
and
10,
get another 3 picks on top of that.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
But I think at 4, like, if you want to stay there, it most makes sense to stay there because you could have won. All right.
I'm picking up every single call draft night, though.
So not like pick up the calls, right? But like if you're like ideally trying to replace Matt Ryan, you're not gonna get a good quarterback next year. You're just not. Yeah. Like you probably get one, but you probably have to be the first draft pick to get it because like next year just isn't deep for quarterbacks like that. So this is the year. This is a rare year, in fact, with quarterback talent.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
No, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So like in that sense, you can either go to quarterback or you get Kyle Pitts, who's also generational talent.
Exactly.
You're not gonna get Kyle Pitts next year or the year after.
They could pass up on Kyle Pitts, who everybody's saying he might be the greatest tight end of all time, just because how versatile he is. But how you were saying that the draft prospects aren't going to be nearly as good because any single one of these top 5 quarterbacks could go number 1 next year. Anyone.
No, definitely. Like not
any
even,
single
they literally would've.
Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, obviously Trevor Lawrence.
They literally would have, yeah.
For the next 5 years, they could go 1 this year, 1 next year, the year after that, and so on. They would have to, if they didn't get a quarterback this year, they would have to obviously keep Matt Ryan, and they would have to acquire one from a trade.
Yeah.
With that trade, to get a good quarterback, they would have to give up a lot. They would have to give up either Julio Jones, because he's kind of getting older, or they would have to give up Calvin Ridley, most likely, if they want to get a good quarterback. Yeah,
he's probably going to be a guy who
or, say, Calvin Ridley, 2 first-round picks for whoever.
Yeah.
Which
you're going to have to give up picks.
Which hurts their offense a lot. So I could very well see them going, say, Kyle Pitts at 4, knowing that they're going to have to trade away Calvin Ridley in the future.
Yeah.
So if they go quarterback this year, I think quarterback could be their worst move. I think they should go either Kyle Pitts or trade back. Because if they go Kyle Pitts, like I was just saying, they know that they're going to end up trading in the future. Or if they trade back, then they could still try and snag one in the second round if they want. Kellen Mond, Kyle Trask, the Notre Dame quarterback, the Stanford quarterback, and they're both good. But if the Patriots are going to trade up from 15 to 4, they definitely need to see who's at 3. Yeah. Because they're not trading up if Mac Jones is left at 4.
Yeah.
There's no way. The only way they're going is if Justin Fields is there. And is it worth it to get Kyle Pitts at 4? Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He's gross.
And say the Patriots are trading up from 15 to 4. No matter what. Say we trade up 15 to 4. Is it worth giving up that much to go up 11 spots for a college player that we know really nothing about in the NFL?
No.
Because we're going to have to give up our first round of this year, next year, say our second round this year, and maybe our first after that.
No, see, the reason I say it's not worth it is because, like, especially 4 specifically, right? Let's say Trevor Lawrence is gone, Zach Wilson gone, Justin Fields gone. So you just went up 11 spots for Mac Jones when originally you thought you were going to get him at 15.
The draft order.
So that just isn't ideal to me.
Yep.
It's just not.
So the Bears, what are they?
The Bears 20.
20. And then what do the Broncos have?
9.
9. So I don't think the Patriots are going to trade up. I think if there were teams to trade up, it's going to be. I think it'll be the Broncos, because the Bears, they're very happy with Andy Dalton. I don't really know who their backup is. So actually, the Bears could. But I don't feel like they don't really have the draft capital to do it because they just gave up a ton to get Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
This is the first draft where they have all of their normal picks and they're not missing on any from the Khalil Mack trade. So I really don't know if they want to get into basically draft capital debt again.
Yeah.
I feel like we still could get a top 5 QB.
Why?
Because look, the Jaguars, they're taking Lawrence.
Yeah.
The Jets, they're taking Wilson.
Yeah.
49ers, they're taking a quarterback. Atlanta, they could. Cincinnati has their quarterback. Miami, they have Tua if they stick with him.
I don't think they'll draft QB.
The Lions could draft a QB.
Yeah.
Panthers just got their QB. Denver could draft a QB.
Yeah.
Dallas, they have their QB. The Giants.
The Giants are sticking with Daniel Jones.
Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts.
And Joe Flacco.
Chargers, they have their guy.
Yeah.
Minnesota has their guy, and then that's us.
It's either going to be if the Broncos don't take one. But the thing is, Minnesota doesn't need one because they have playoff Monday Night Football Kirk. But if any one of those 5 are sitting there, how are you going to let them fall to the Patriots of any organization?
I know.
How? Mm-hmm. Because Kirk Cousins has taken a lot of heat over the years just because he can't play in prime time. Like he always chokes. And he won his first primetime game last year.
Yeah.
His first one.
Mm-hmm.
Since he's taken so much heat, do you think they could leave a quarterback like that on the board?
I think.
Yeah.
Same with the Giants. There's a lot of speculation because they took Daniel Jones, and I didn't even know who the kid was. Nobody knew who this kid was. He was projected late second, early third round pick, and they took him 6th overall.
Mm-hmm.
No one, or what was it, 4 or 6?
I think it was 6.
No one thought that was going to happen. So I think the Broncos, say they go to Atlanta, be like, listen, we have a young quarterback in Drew Lock. I think that the Broncos trade up to 4. That is the best thing for the Falcons because they have a young quarterback in Drew Lock who can then learn and develop under Matt Ryan with the offensive weapons already around him. Then you build up your O-line for 2 years. Matt Ryan's done. You put Drew Lock in. Todd Gurley's there. You have a good O-line, and you have 2 great targets in Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. Yep. And you don't have to worry about trading. Be like, listen, we got Drew Lock, and we'll give you, say, 2 first-round picks to trade up to this 4 pick, and you get our 9th pick. Because then they get 2 first-round picks to either get another target or, say, another stud guy, 2 stud guys on defense, 1 stud guy on defense, a stud offensive lineman. I think if the Broncos trade up to number 4, that is the best thing all around for the Falcons. Yep. It's the best thing all around. Yeah. Because the Bears, I don't know, what do the Bears have? You said 20?
20.
And they don't really have extra picks like that. They just have 1, right? And if anything, it's 6th round, 5th round, 4th round. That doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think if the Broncos, because the Broncos, they have Jerry Jeudy. They could go wide receiver this year at 9, which could very well help Drew Lock. But if they're really looking towards their future, bring in another stud quarterback, bring in Justin Fields at 4 if he's there. Speaking of Justin Fields and Mac Jones, 3 and 4, what is up with their stocks there? Why is everybody hating on Justin Fields right now?
It makes no sense to me, honest. To be completely honest, this is the definition of media just twisting things.
I don't understand.
So we went from Mac Jones projected to go to the Patriots. Basically nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, Mac Jones is going to the 49ers. What, bro?
3.
What did he do? What did he do all of a sudden magically that made him become go up that much spots?
12 picks.
Meanwhile, Justin Fields had a better pro day than him. Yet Mac Jones is projected to go above him.
So,
doesn't make any type of sense.
I have a question. So Justin Fields obviously had his pro day same day as Mac Jones in Alabama. They want Justin Fields to have another pro day.
He will.
So
he will.
The 49ers can be there.
Yeah.
So are the 49ers saying all this stuff to the media, be like, listen, we love Mac. We want to go. Well, not we want to go Mac. But all signs point to they're going Mac 3rd overall. Ian Rappaport said he'd be very surprised if the 49ers don't walk out of the draft with Mac Jones. Are they saying all this stuff to kind of turn everybody's heads away and get Justin Fields and kind of surprise everybody?
But why did they trade up to 3? I feel like Mac's still not top 3.
That's
Fields
why
is better
I
than
feel
him.
like they could be kind of faking it and then go Justin Fields.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
And Mac is being praised right now, like how you said earlier. He didn't even have that good of a pro day.
He didn't have a good
you
pro
can't
day.
really judge somebody on a pro day because 1, they're not covered. 2, there's no pressure towards them.
But
and they're just
Justin
playing with their
Fields
teammates.
was throwing bombs.
Yeah.
Ran a 4.44.
Mm-hmm.
All the attributes you want a quarterback Justin Fields has. I don't know. If I'm the 49ers, I'm taking Fields.
Which is a better fit? Mac Jones, who could be more of a pocket passer like how Jimmy G was, kind of like how Joe Montana was for the 49ers. More pocket passer. They have George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Raheem Mostert. If they bring another offensive talent this year, they'll have a stud defense. So I think because
Justin Fields is a better fit.
In my opinion, you have to look at like how the NFL is trending. The NFL is not trending towards that's like Tom Brady. That generation is coming to an end.
He's dying.
NFL teams want mobile quarterbacks who can make throws on the run, can make plays happen.
I see what you mean.
Like you don't want a pocket passer at this point. If you look at all the good teams, Mahomes, he can make throws on the run. Like all these quarterbacks can make plays.
That's exactly why like, it would have made sense. Like that's why Mac said the Patriots make so much sense because like they're a team that's used to it. They've been doing that for 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
But and even the 49ers too, why would you want to get Mac Jones, who's basically a replica of Jimmy G?
Exactly.
When it didn't work out, right? You could get Justin Fields, kind of switch up things, have a guy who can like make things move happen with his legs and stuff like that.
So I think that Mac Jones is the better guy from the pocket, but obviously all around talent, it's hands down Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mac Jones was trying to show his off balance throws in the combine. He was hitting the ceiling. He wasn't hitting anybody. Like it's just not him. Just play in the pocket.
Yeah.
And I agree. Mac Jones might be, I think, the better fit for the 49ers in their system and franchise historically in a way.
No, I don't.
But overall, and like for the future, it's Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But so, at least I was saying, and I was thinking, there's no way the Patriots trade up if it's not Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But you were just saying that it's more likely the Patriots to get Mac Jones because they were used to it. And we're only a year out from Tom Brady in our system. So do you think that we're still going to trade up even if it's Mac Jones?
No, see, like I meant to as in like it makes sense for Mac to fall to the Patriots because like the system is like used to that. But I don't think they'd trade up and possibly give up something for Mac Jones.
Even the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots want a pocket passer anymore.
I wouldn't trade up for Mac Jones.
We got Cam Newton. I feel like if we're going to get someone, we're going to get someone who can go behind Cam Newton for a little.
I think
work into it after that.
I definitely want a more mobile quarterback. Our offensive play calling has to adjust to having a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Because Cam wanted to run the ball, but Josh McDaniels wanted him to stay in the pocket. So we can't have that disagreement on the sidelines. You're either a mobile quarterback or you're not. We just haven't had that. But Justin Fields actually took a quarterback test. I can't remember. It's not the generic one that everybody does. It's kind of like a low-profile one. But this guy's worked for like the Miami Dolphins. He worked for the Detroit Lions, like many NFL, NBA, MLB teams. Like he's a very well-known, respected guy. He does a quarterback test every year. It's not like the stupid like concussion test. Like remember which word was said, which color in that order. This was like a top-notch like decision-making, like everything all-around test. So if you score a 100 on this test, it's considered basically kind of average. If you score below 100, questions start to raise with that quarterback. 115 is very good. Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen, I think, scored about a 108. Justin Fields, Daryl, scored a 130 on this test.
Yep.
One of the highest scores ever on this test. So this brings me back. If Pat Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL, if he's scoring a 108, and exceptional is 115, and Josh Allen is scoring about like a 106, 108, and exceptional is 115, and Justin Fields is scoring a 130.
I think the question lies, can it translate to the field? Because like a test is a test. You can memorize answers to a test, you know what I mean?
But we saw how it translated for Pat Mahomes.
Sometimes it doesn't translate.
Yeah, but a lot of people were saying, obviously, and even I was saying that it was coming out that he didn't have a good work ethic.
Yeah.
Does Justin Fields basically have a photographic memory? Does he not need to have the same work ethic because he remembers everything so quick?
Like I also think like a lot of these work ethic things are blown out of proportion too. Were you guys like there was a meter in the facility with him like to see that? Like they just want to make up narratives.
It's all rumors.
Like, he put in the work like. A guy, like I said last week, a guy who doesn't put in work won't get hit like he did in the side, and it's still a lot of Clemson in the second half.
He wouldn't be in the NFL draft if he didn't have a good work ethic. It comes down to that. But overall, for the other prospects, it can vary. Excuse me. But if Justin Fields might be, because again, like with the first read stuff, the first read guy, a lot of people were saying he was only throwing the first read. The first read guy was always open, so you can't really fault him for that. Because he didn't look at the other guys when he had the wide open pass. And if he has that good of a memory, and it's not even memory based, it's just like scenarios and like what would you do in this scenario? I obviously don't know all the specifics because it's not really like a high-profile test.
Yeah.
If you are that intelligent and have a score of 130 on this test, on normal playbook to you, you're going to memorize it and know it way easier. Mm-hmm. That might be why, which I was saying, that might be why a lot of people were saying he doesn't have a good work ethic because he's not in the facilities for a long time. He already knows the playbook. He doesn't need to memorize anything else. In a hard playbook, like the Patriots playbook is, that's going to be like a normal playbook to him. And a normal playbook is an easy playbook, which could totally shift the tables on Justin Fields or Mac Jones. So knowing this, would you still go now? Would you trade up for Justin Fields if he scored higher than any quarterback has?
Well, I would have traded up for him before anyway. So you
would have given up that much to get him. If you were the Patriots?
Well, it depends what you're giving up. But if they have an opportunity to trade up to get a quarterback like him, just do it. Just because as I always say, the way this year is, and let's say Cam Newton doesn't work out. Let's say Cam Newton doesn't work out.
To get the third
you just want to have a backup.
What'd you say?
They just give
if Cam Newton doesn't work out, you want to have a backup that you can kind of give the keys to. Because obviously you don't want to give the keys to Jarrett Stidham. So
no,
you know
Jarrett
what I'm saying?
Stidham. And Cam Newton and Justin Fields already have the connection from Cam's flag football thing years and years and years ago. I think just knowing that, how can you not look at Justin Fields differently? Yeah. He might be one of the smartest quarterbacks ever. Mm-hmm. So what did they give up? Because they're going to base trading up based off of what this trade was.
They traded the number 3 overall pick and traded their next 3 first-round picks.
So 3 first-round picks?
3 first-round picks.
So this one and then 2 years?
Yep.
Would you do that for Justin Fields? For someone that's unproven, but with all the signs pointing to this guy, could be one of the best quarterbacks in this draft?
I can see both sides.
Yeah.
Because
I just want to.
In a way, he has proved himself, though. He's performed at the highest level and injured at the same time.
Would you trust him over Zach Wilson based on the competition that he's had to face over and over again? In high school, he's faced good competition. At Georgia, he faced good competition. In Ohio State, he faced good competition. Year in, year out, at the biggest stages. BYU is not a small school at any means, but it's smaller compared to the powerhouse teams.
Yeah.
So if Justin Fields is putting up these crazy numbers against these high powerhouse teams week in and week out, would you trust him over Zach Wilson?
See, the reason I wouldn't is because the eye test, some stuff you can't just be it's
Justin Fields passes the eye test.
Yeah, and Zach Wilson does too.
But all around, you'd rather Zach Wilson.
The way the ball comes out of Zach Wilson's hands,
it is pretty effortless.
The unorthodox throws that Zach Wilson makes, you can't just it's not even about just competition. That's about he doesn't need to be planted. He can be on the run I'm just unorthodox completely. And he showed that at his pro day. Mm-hmm. He showed that a few times on his pro day. So stuff like that, that's just the eye test showing you this guy can throw the ball very well. And I think Zach Wilson actually has the best arm in the NFL draft right now. Mm-hmm. Just arm, I think he has the best arm. So I wouldn't take Justin Fields over him, but I wouldn't be mad at anyone if they did, but I would just go Zach Wilson.
I think how you're saying you wouldn't be mad, I would be kind of surprised just based off of the Zach Wilson hype. But with you just saying the unorthodox throws, I feel I really only saw Zach Wilson do that at the pro day. We saw a few.
He did it a bunch of times in college. He did it a bunch of times in college.
Justin Fields getting absolutely rocked, having basically all of his ribs just snapped in half. Not literally, but it looked like it. He was on the field basically crying on the field, comes back and throws a touchdown next play, does it in 2 games back to back. Skill-wise, if the pocket's breaking down, I'd rather Justin Fields to go out there besides Zach Wilson. I'd rather Justin Fields roll out and either throw the ball because he's used to rolling out. He's used to escaping the pocket. I'd rather him. I would trust Justin Fields with a bad offensive line. I'd rather trust Justin Fields over Zach Wilson because of the height, because of the weight, and because of the skill set. I think Justin Fields is an overall better quarterback than Zach Wilson because we were always talking about.
I have to disagree with that one, heavily.
Really?
Yeah, because when you're looking at a guy's tape, right, there's a reason why people are comparing him to Zach Wilson to Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes because certain stuff.
I can't go with that.
Certain
I
stuff.
can't buy into that stuff with any quarterback. With any.
Well,
until you see it.
Exactly. No, until you see it. But certain stuff you see on a college level, there wasn't really anyone who was doing that. Just being rushed at a certain angle and flinging the ball without having your foot set. He literally made a lot of plays like that in college.
I agree.
It wasn't when he did it in the pro day. It wasn't the first time I seen him do it because I told you guys before. This guy's crazy.
I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying he definitely did these plays, but I think it was not easier, but easier in a way, if you know what I mean. Based on, again, the competition that he was facing.
But Justin Fields too, also, he played bad games against teams that weren't that good either.
Right.
Like, he had a terrible game against Indiana. I think it was like, he had a terrible game against Northwestern as well.
Yeah.
Those teams aren't that good either. So, like, Justin Fields this season, matter of fact, this season for him was worse than the season before. He did not play good this season until he had to in, like, the clutch, which is good. But this season wasn't his best. Like,
he wasn't as consistent this year.
Yeah, he was not as consistent this year overall.
I think,
but you have a point about the offensive line. Like, bad offensive line, I'd rather have Justin
because
Fields.
he's got the height, he can see.
Well, they're like the same height. They're both like 6'2", but
which is crazy to me because Zach Wilson looks short. Yeah.
No, but I mean, they released a picture of him next to Drew Brees, and he was like kind of towering over him. So he must be like about 6'2" as well. But Justin Fields is definitely more athletic.
Yeah.
So I mean, like. That's definitely
I feel
true.
like he's way more durable because he's taking these hits.
Yeah,
Zach
I'll
Wilson
agree with that
hasn't gotten rocked like that.
And you have a point on that one because like Zach Wilson also did have one of the best linemen in like the whole whole country. So he had a clean pocket. So I mean, in that case, yeah. So like bad line, like I'd rather have Fields, but good line, I'd rather have Zach Wilson because like he doesn't seem. I mean, you guys watched his pro day. Like he clearly had the best pro day out of every quarterback. Like the stuff that he was doing, it just. You shouldn't be able to do that. And, like, the fact that he was doing that at Pro Day, too, it shows that he's that confident in it. Because most QBs wouldn't even take those throws to begin with. He took them and he made them multiple times.
I think another reason why I would take Justin Fields is because kind of like how I was saying the college, like, competition I had to go against. But in high school, he wasn't an easy high school. Yeah. It was called, I forget, but I just know they were green, and it was green and white and silver.
And he was disgusting.
He was disgusting in high school. Gross, then he goes to Elite 11. Competes against Trevor Lawrence and obviously the top 11 quarterbacks in the nation. Gets second, Trevor Lawrence gets first. He's learning from all these great quarterback coaches from his senior year in high school how to break down defenses, how to be a great quarterback. Then he goes to he decommits and commits to Georgia a million times, different other colleges, ends up at Georgia, has to fight for the starting spot in Georgia, transfers to Ohio State, doesn't talk to his teammates that much because he's so set. So focused on getting that starting job. He works at it. He earns a starting job. He's learned from his process from high school to now a starter, not now, but to the starter in Ohio State. He learned from so many different quarterback coaches and just coaches and scouts in general and QB gurus, basically, how to break down defenses. And he had to face Trevor Lawrence, a senior in high school, to face him in the semifinals of the national championship. So he's always had to go against basically the same guys. Not even the same defenses, but he's faced so many defenses and can pick apart every single one every time.
It's not every time though. I mean, like he's not like. It's not like all right. Like
I'm saying like levels.
Yeah.
So, in high school he did it at Elite 11. He did it at Georgia, and now at Ohio State he's doing it. And we've really only heard about Zach Wilson really this year.
2 months.
You were obviously talking about it, but like the broad community, like sports, like fans have only heard about Zach Wilson. But Brady was saying 2 months. And just 2 months ago, really when Zach Wilson started, we were talking about if Justin Fields was going right up to Trevor Lawrence. So I can't just erase.
It's crazy how it was Lawrence then Fields. Now it's Lawrence. 4 other guys, then Fields.
That's the same thing with Mac Jones going from 15 to 3, but it's the opposite. I can't just forget about us discussing if Justin Fields could be better than Trevor Lawrence to him going.
Well, that's a definition of the media just putting
exactly.
That was I said that was wrong from the jump. That's a definition of the media just rolling with something because like if you watch the season, it wasn't even close.
I still think he's going 3.
But like.
I think he should go
to go. No, Justin Fields should definitely go 3 or like top 3.
I'm standing on that. He's going 3.
If they get Mac,
I don't think. Like, don't get me wrong. Trey Lance and Mac Jones there's no way they should go over Justin Fields. I don't think so.
Trey Lance is good, but he's not. He's not that.
Because he barely even. Trey Lance barely. I'm not believing in Trey Lance at all. Y'all know that. But to defend Zach Wilson, like. Dom, you made this point to me too, like about how some QBs in the NFL have thrived and they haven't even been to like Josh Allen played at Wyoming. Look what he's doing now.
Carson Wentz at North Dakota State.
Obviously Carson Wentz obviously played bad, but like his MVP, he would have won MVP like that year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But sometimes like scouts can see like the eye test and be like, all right, this guy, you could probably like change him into something like very good and a great system.
That's why I definitely agree with what you're saying. I just feel like if I was a scout, I would trust the guy that is faced, and don't get me wrong, I might be wrong.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I would trust the quarterback that's faced higher competition every year in college than a BYU who's been reaching out to games. And they played good teams. I'm not knocking them for not playing good teams. Like, they played good games, and he played good. But I would just trust Justin Fields because he's been in that spot.
Spotlight,
He's had to be the guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. For basically, how many years?
Every level. Every level.
3 years he was in college.
2. I think it was 2.
Well, he was 2 years in
Georgia,
Ohio.
Three in total.
So 3 years. Yeah. 3 years in college, then basically like the summer of Elite 11, and then the 4 years of high school. So that's basically like 7 years of dominance at the quarterback position. So that might be getting to his head. Maybe he's not going to work that hard in the NFL because he's like, I've always been the guy. So it can either kill him or it can help him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they're both great.
Yeah.
But if I was to choose one, I would definitely go Justin Fields, just based off of overall. And like how Brady was saying, it looks effortless when Zach Wilson throws. Like, have you guys seen the videos of the Penn State's backup quarterback launching the balls at like those it's like the indoor turf facilities? It was going on like TikTok and Instagram. It was viral like a month ago. I can see if I can pull it up later, but he was flinging the ball effortlessly. Like it just looked like he would just a little dime and it'd be flying out of his hands. That's what Zach Wilson reminds me of. But obviously the other guy's younger, but Zach Wilson's better. But that's basically how it is. Like I think Zach Wilson has the arm talent. But overall, Justin Fields, I think I would rather. Mm-hmm. And would you be happy with like Kellen Mond and Kyle Trask for the Patriots?
I don't see why not. Kyle Trask is
like with our second round pick.
Kyle Trask is also he could easily fit the Patriots system because like he plays like Tom Brady did, almost like stationary. But he can really throw. He had a great season. He could have won the Heisman if he didn't have like a few bad weeks. So
would you rather him or Kellen Mond?
Kyle Trask.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Because he almost won the Heisman. He's very accurate. He had multiple games over 400 yards last year. Mm-hmm. He knows how to play. He played with a dominant tight end in college, so he can play with a dominant tight end in Patriots.
2 of them.
Yeah, so he can easily do it.
And Kellen Mond, the video I think you sent, he did like really stiff in the rollout to the right and like the back corner end zone throw. He did like very stiff. He was like running like this. He did like very stiff, and he was huge. Like Kellen Mond looked huge, like very very tall. Not even like buff. He just looked very tall. And with Kyle Trask,
Kyle Trask is actually like. Kyle Trask definitely is taller than him, actually. Kyle Trask
you think he's tall? He's tall.
Kyle Trask is 6'5".
Oh, maybe it was just that angle because the video was kind of like back. And
so Kyle Trask is like literally like that could be exactly like you're having a guy who plays exactly like Tom Brady basically come in and it could easily.
I'd be happy with Kyle Trask.
Yeah, you know.
And because we were talking about obviously right now and before talking about getting Kyle Trask in the second round, the only person I think I would really want to trade up to get would be Kyle Pitts. And then get Kyle Trask later on. Ooh. Because I would have rather not Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith. I can't tell which one I like better because I haven't seen them play together yet. Mm-hmm. If we didn't get one of them, I would have wanted to trade up to get Kyle Pitts. Because then we have a Kyle Pitts and a Jonnu Smith, Kyle Pitts and Hunter Henry, and then Kyle Trask, who's always thrown to them, and then he's thrown to a fast receiver, Kadarius Toney, which Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne could beat. Mm-hmm. So it's basically the Florida offense in New England, which could be
the guy who plays exactly like Tom Brady.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
It's gonna fit right.
That I think. Would you rather go Kyle Trask in the second round or like a wide receiver?
I get Trask, especially depending on what we did in the first round. Like
it's all gonna depend on the first round.
For the first round pick, I don't even know if Micah Parsons will be there at 15. Mm. I think the Cowboys will get him at 10 because they really need help because they have Van Der Esch at linebacker, but they also need help. Yeah. If anything, they might go Patrick Surtain if he's there, just because they do need help at the linebacker spot, but they need more help in the secondary. But would you be happy with like a Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman? Would you take them at 15 though, or does it depend who's there?
It depends who's there, but
because
if they got him, I wouldn't be like damn, like I would be like fair, because like both of them are, especially I like Elijah Moore a lot. He's a very speedy receiver, can't be covered 1-on-1 like that. So I definitely think it would be like I wouldn't like depending on who's there, I wouldn't knock it.
Mm. But the thing is with the wide receivers, I feel like we brought in how many wide receivers did we bring in? 3.
3.
Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, but like I mean,
did we only bring in 2?
I think 2.
They're good, but like it's not like they're like oh my god.
But so, I feel like
they're gonna blow you out of the water.
Exactly. We have a ton of amateur wide receivers in a way, but I feel like if we were to bring in another young amateur wide receiver, would our wide receiver room be too crowded? Would Julian Edelman fighting for time?
Speaking of that, I think Edelman's done. I think he's retiring.
Yeah, because they said he can't even play a full season anymore. It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Because this is his last year, right?
I think he's gonna retire.
He'll retire after this year.
No, before. I think he's gonna be done.
I think he'll try one more time.
Yeah.
And I think if he gets hurt during the season, he's not going to force himself back. Yeah. But say we have...
I just don't want to see him hurt.
Say it's the first week of the season. Julian Edelman's fighting for time. N'Keal Harry's fighting for time. Demir Bird's fighting for time. Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and if we bring in Elijah Moore, that's 7 wide receivers that we have.
I feel like at the same time,
and they're all basically the same guy.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a definitive number 1. We don't have a definitive number 7. Like they're all the same guy. So that's why.
Maybe they're expecting that to bring the best out of the receivers, like make them work harder to compete within each other. But like 7.
Because Minnesota's
a lot of receivers.
Because Minnesota could go for defense at 14, because their offense is great. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook. Like they have a good offense. And then they have Kyle Rudolph, right, at tight end.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's on the Giants.
He's on
the Giants. So they don't really have like a tight end, or maybe they did, but not a big name guy. They could very well go defense. But if the defensive guy isn't there, would you go Najee Harris, the running back?
I think you could
bring in another Alabama running back. We have an Alabama backfield then.
I think you could do it. Like I wouldn't knock that either, because like Najee is very athletic. He can make very good plays. He's very he's very elusive, like with his movements. He can make good cutbacks. He hurdles people. So I wouldn't mind it. He can bring some explosiveness to the
What's the main difference between him and Travis Etienne?
He's better than Travis Etienne.
Like all around.
Yes, he's better than him.
I think it'd be crazy because then we have 2 dominant tight ends, 7 wide receivers, a great offensive line. The 2 tight ends are basically, obviously helping out that offensive line. If we get Kyle Trask at quarterback, then we have Damian Harris, who's on the come up, Sony Michel, who's also young, who we got 2017, I think. And then if we bring in Najee Harris, a dominant backfield, dominant tight ends, and then we can get a good quarterback. And we have Jalen Mills in the dominant defense with Stephon Gilmore, and if J.C. Jackson if we re-sign him. I don't understand why we
Hightower coming back.
And Donta Hightower coming back. And Kyle Van Noy coming back. And Lawrence Guy coming back. And
Chung?
What did you say?
No, Chung retired.
Chung retired.
Yeah.
Jason McCourty, Devin McCourty, everybody. Our defense, our team is there. It's based on our wide receivers and our quarterback.
Yep.
That's what it is. Our running game was great last year. Cam Newton can get us the yards. Damian Harris can. Sony Michel is pretty slow. So I think I would want to go Najee Harris. I want to go Najee Harris and Kyle Trask. That's what I would be happy with.
I like it.
Because Chase Winovich is young. He's coming off the edge. If anything, I would get an edge guy, but there really isn't an edge guy that high in the draft this year. So maybe get him later on, see how he develops, kind of like a Chase Winovich, who was, 3rd round?
Yeah.
We have a great... We went from having one of the oldest teams in the NFL 2 years ago, when we lost and when we had AB, Demaryius Thomas, and all them. We went from having the oldest team to now one of the youngest teams besides defense, really. Like, our offense is very young. Cam Newton's not the oldest. If we bring in Kyle Trask, he's obviously young. He's coming out of the draft. Sony Michel, 2016, 2017 draft pick. Now, Damian Harris, 2019 draft pick, excuse me. So... that all signs are looking good for the Pages. It just depends on if we can get out of the AFC East.
Yep.
True.
Because the Bills are very hard. Obviously, the Bills are the Bills.
Dolphins.
The Dolphins. I think we'll be good against the Dolphins. I'm not really worried about the Dolphins, just because their own team isn't even bought in on Tua yet. Whenever it mattered, they took out Tua. What does that have to
that's 1 year. That's his first year. I'm not going to buy too much into that. Like, this year's a very important year for him.
But still, when Justin Herbert struggled, they kept Justin Herbert in. Right. When Joe Burrow struggled, that's really all they had. And, it was their fault that he was struggling because he didn't have any time. They took Tua over Justin Herbert. So let Tua Tagovailoa learn the offense.
Well, people also forget that Tua was injured at the beginning of the season, so that could have thrown him off as well. So I think this season is just an important season for him because he did have a pretty serious injury as well.
Do you think if he plays bad next year, what's going to happen?
Then it's different. Then
what do you think he'll do?
Because then he has a whole year. He's had a whole
year.
Either
maybe a trade situation or something like that.
I think they'll trade him because they have Jacoby's young. I think if he plays bad, they're keeping Jacoby Brissett. I hope they keep Jacoby. I don't hope they do because they're in the AFC East. But I hope they do because I really do like Jacoby Brissett a lot. And I feel bad that Phillip Rivers came in because Jacoby was playing great. When Andrew Luck left, Jacoby Brissett stepped in, took over the role, kind of got the connection with T.Y. Hilton, but not really. But, same thing with the Colts. The Colts need to bring in another wide receiver. Michael Pittman had 1 touchdown last year and 500 yards, 400 yards. That's not it. T.Y. Hilton's good, but he's always under the radar. They
definitely need a receiver, yeah.
They have Naeem Hines and what's the other running back's name? because Tony Pollard,
Jonathan Taylor,
because Tony Pollard's the Cowboys running back. Do you think the Cowboys will move on from Ezekiel Elliott if he doesn't have a good year this year?
Nah, they're not moving on from Zeke. Why? Just because, like...
Everything that happened last year with that team, I feel like...
But he played terrible this year.
He did, but I mean...
Tony Pollard, same thing, what they did with Tua, they did the opposite. Well, they basically did the same thing for Zeke. Whenever it mattered, say Zeke, they would put Ezekiel Elliott in on 3rd and 1s, 2nd and 1s, or 2nd and short. They would have him get the first down. Then when your number one back, your best running back on your team is supposed to go in on 1st and 10. They're supposed to cook.
Yeah.
Let Zeke
pick up,
feed me. That's when you want to be fed. On 1st and 10, they would put in Tony Pollard. They wouldn't even let Zeke touch the field.
You're right. It did feel like last year, like everyone was like, "This is the week. This is the week he's gonna." He's not like that.
His best game, he had 2 touchdowns and barely any yards. Like his 2 touchdowns were basically almost halfback dives. If anything, they weren't over 10 yards. Ezekiel Elliott is not that good. He's basically the Todd Gurley for the Falcons.
Well, he's had a bad year last year. Right? He had some good seasons in the past. Like I think he can bounce.
He's a 2-time rushing leader. I feel
he's
like
he can bounce back. He's still in his rookie deal.
Yeah,
right?
He can definitely bounce back. Yeah, he'll be.
His first 3 years, he made the Pro Bowl twice out of the first 3 years. I think this was his 4th year.
I believe so.
So this was his first year out from a bad, his injuries, but still, even when he was healthy, he wasn't. Even when he was healthy for, say, a stretch of 3 games, they were barely putting him in. That might be because they want to let the young guy cook more and really put Zeke when it matters in a way to get the first down and extend the drives.
I feel like another thing is they didn't want another one of their stars hurt.
I was about to say that. I was really about to say that.
Because they had nothing to play for. How far are you getting?
They had nothing to play for at that point.
That's true.
I completely agree with that.
I see. I hope... that Patriot... That draft, I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
I really have no idea.
That's why I love football.
Yep.
Hopefully the Broncos trade up to 4. That's the best thing that could happen. And then the AFC West gets really good with the Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Chiefs. That becomes a way better... You good?
Good.
That becomes a way better division. The Patriots could become Super Bowl contenders again. It's just... Because how many playoff spots are going to be next year? Is it 8 or 9?
7.
I have no idea, actually.
Is it 7?
I don't think it's 7.
I thought it was 7 each division. Because didn't 7 make it this year? How many made it this year? I think it's the same as last year.
Was it 7?
One seed's the only team that gets the bye. Still.
Yeah.
Let me check.
It was 7. I feel like there were more. I feel like there were 4. Was it not
7? 7 playoff teams.
7.
I feel like there were more games. Oh no! Just because they had the AFC and the NFC play on the same day. That's why. So who do you think the 7 teams will be? So 1 is Chiefs. So we got Chiefs, Bills.
Wait a second.
Chiefs, Bills, Browns will make it.
Yep.
And then how many wild cards are there? 7 including.
Yeah.
6 wild cards. Yeah. Basically 6 wild cards before our division.
So Chiefs, Bills. I think the Browns will make it.
Ravens
are making it. The Browns are making it.
Titans. Then it's is it going to be the Steelers or?
Colts.
Steelers will not make it.
Colts.
I think the Steelers will make it.
The Colts.
The 3, 4, 5. So Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Browns, Titans. That's 5. Mm-hmm. The Colts. That's 6.
Then the Dolphins or the Steelers.
You don't think the Patriots?
No.
Oh, I forgot.
They could sneak in, but I feel like it's gonna have to be 7.
I think it's gonna be Patriots over Miami, and then I think it's gonna be Patriots over the Steelers because the Steelers, they have an old quarterback. They do bring him back.
But it's not like Ben's coming off a horrible season. He had a really good year.
The Steelers.
It depends on their offensive
They can easily do the same thing.
Exactly.
Did you guys think they're gonna do that last year with the winning streak?
But
no.
they don't have
Bud Dupree
anymore. They don't have that pressure. So yeah, TJ Watt is very good, but they don't have their offensive lineman retired. Big Ben almost retired. He's good, but he's not prime Big Ben obviously anymore. They brought in Dwayne Haskins, who could be a distraction or he could be very good and develop.
No, he's not gonna be good.
What is that?
He's not good.
He's probably not even gonna touch the field.
Yeah.
James Conner's most likely on his outs. He's not gonna be playing. They don't have a running back, so I think they will 100% go Najee Harris if he's there in the draft. They have no offensive line. Their defense is good, but it's worse than it was last year. They greatly decreased or got worse, and the Patriots got better.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah.
So I think the Patriots over them, and I just trust the Patriots over Miami. Excuse me, I trust Bill over Brian Flores.
That's fair.
Yeah. So then it's Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Browns, Titans, Patriots. Mm-hmm. And then what about the NFC? Bucks,
Packers, Redskins, Seattle.
Oh, Washington.
Yeah.
I like the 49ers back in the playoffs next year.
Rams.
Yep.
What about?
I think 3 teams from the West make it.
Yeah.
So whoever's last
Bucks, Packers, Washington, Seahawks, Rams.
The Bears could sneak in. Maybe.
The Saints will sneak in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 2 more teams. I think the Bears. Yeah, the Bears probably. It depends on their schedule.
Bears will sneak in. Maybe the Vikings.
And could all of the NFC West make it?
No.
Has that happened?
I think one team wouldn't be able to.
One team wouldn't make it.
Why?
Because 3 from one division, and then you have to have 1 from each division too. So that's like.
Really?
I mean, it's possible. I mean,
if the Cardinals have a better record than the Saints, they can do it.
Yeah.
Better record than the Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles, they can do it.
I feel like that's rare.
That's rare.
I'm gonna say the Saints.
A loss has to happen.
I'm gonna say the Saints or the Falcons, depending on who they draft. So I'll say Saints.
Yep.
And then, is the Super Bowl just gonna be a repeat?
I don't know.
The Bucks and the Chiefs.
It's hard to tell with football.
Because the Bucks are literally the exact same team besides AB.
Yeah. You got to take into account it's a new year. They're not going to get through a whole year without any injuries, so you don't know what's going to happen with injuries, stuff like that. There's so many different things that could go wrong.
Did you see what Andy Reid did for Juju Smith-Schuster?
No.
So Andy Reid tried to recruit the wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster, the TikTok guy, Corvette, dancing on the logos. He texted Juju Smith-Schuster a picture of the Lombardi Trophy every single day to try and recruit him. Just texting him a picture of the trophy every single day just to get him on the Chiefs. But he said no, and he stayed with the Steelers for 1 year. That's the thing. Like, if the Patriots don't make it this year, next year is going to be crazy because we have the TV deal money. We still have like around $30 million from this year. So we're going to be in the same boat as we are this year with next year, and all those players that are signing 1 year deals are all going to be up for contracts next year. So if the Patriots don't bring in a wide receiver, which I don't think we'll make any more free agency, I think free agency we're done. So we could bring in big names next year. We could re-sign Gilmore if we want because we would have the money. We could sign J.C. Jackson to a big money deal. It could be crazy next year because of all that money that we could have in all those 1 years. That's why it was smart that we signed everybody from like 3 to 4 year deals or 2 to 4 year deals so they're locked up.
Yep. Time is now.
Matt Judon. I forgot about Matt Judon.
Yeah.
He's off the edge. Or no, he's linebacker. But he pressures the quarterback a lot. If Chase Winovich gets good, Isaiah Wynn, Lawrence Guy, Chase Winovich, Donta Hightower, Matt Judon.
The potential is definitely there. It all depends on the quarterback.
Depends on that offensive play calling, too. We can't be calling the same play 4 times in a row against the Seahawks at the goal line just to get stuffed at the 2. It just depends on that draft. I don't know what's going to happen. All right, I think that is all for today. Thank you for joining us for the 8th episode of DBD Sports Show. Let's give it a round of applause. Again, before we finish for tonight, make sure you guys check us out on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, at DBD Sports Show. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.